Hello and welcome to the Quality of Life podcast, hosted by me, Raha. I was the youngest Arab and the first Saudi woman to climb Everest and the Seven Summits. And today, we're meeting Amna. Amna is a trailblazing Emirati athlete, international speaker, and a mental health advocate who has redefined the landscapes of sports and leadership in the Arab world. As the first Emirati woman to compete internationally in weightlifting and CrossFit, as well as being a key figure behind the UAE's qualification in 2016 Rio Olympics, Amna has shattered cultural norms and barriers. Amna, it's so good to see you again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Me and Amna have crossed paths so many times over our careers, and it was always such a pleasure to get to work with you. And now I get to interview you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having us. I'm always an us at this point these days. I don't know.
Leila.
There's so many personalities coming
not?
each time.
Own
different.
it.
Yes, so there is so
It's
many
so
different.
nice to have you all here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Your career is incredible. Great example for young girls, not just for Emirat or Khalij, everywhere. But before we get into your incredible story, I'd like to ask you the traditional question of the podcast, which is quality of life. What would you say in Amna's world is quality of life?
That's a great question, and I think it's a very important one. My answer is that the ability to be yourself without having to perform every day. That would be my answer. In life, we are always constantly in a state of performing, auditioning in life, in jobs, in partnerships, within our family, just to be accepted, to feel loved and, feel like we are worthy. And I think to have a good quality of life is when you are actually being fully yourself without the need to have that validation of the external world.
How would you define that if you wanted to simplify it to someone who feels like they have to always put on? What would you tell them? Like, I live the same thing, like how you do. What would you tell them? What would you say if they're struggling to continuously have to put that face on? What would you tell them?
I would say it's very important to reflect back on why you feel the need to do it first.
Yeah.
And once you understand the need for it and find that answer within yourself and give that answer to you every day through your own actions toward yourself, not through others, that's when you start being more of who you really are and showing up in the world more authentically.
A big part of your journey, and I know this because we've met before and I know your story, is your family and the background and the people that have been part of your journey till today. So in your words, who has been the individual or the people that have inspired Amna to get you to follow your dreams? Who have been these people?
Honest answer, no one.
Okay.
No one.
I love the honesty.
And I cannot say anybody was behind me telling me, Amna, go for it, do it, you're amazing. There was not that kind of support from family. بالعكس, they in our region, they saw what I did as something very shameful, unconventional. How will I take care of myself financially? There was so many things that
Socially,
led to
acceptance.
yeah, and culturally, it was just not something that people are, very comfortable with. And I had to really just focus on myself and what I wanted to do, what Amna wanted to do at that time. Again, at that time.
It changes.
So exactly. And this is what being authentic is as well, is, learning that at one point you might outgrow a certain part of your identity in the past. And that is something that is a big part of having that sense of quality of life as well. Because until this day, people still sometimes have this image of me when I start to do a bit of exercise and post on it on social media. They start to get excited. Oh, you're going to go back to lifting. I'm like, no, I'm doing it for myself. I'm not doing it for, the clubs or the sponsorships or any of that anymore. And, to have had being my own cheerleader was very important because in the end of the day, you wake up with you go to sleep with you. And if you don't have that sense of strong confidence or ability to push yourself when you need to, even if people push you, what's the point? It's nice to have that support every now and then. It's nice to have the occasional clap. It's nice to have those things. There's nothing wrong with that. But not having that within yourself and waiting for others to push you, you will always stay stagnant in your life.
Unfortunately, sometimes lack of support is the push you need. It's not always, the positive. Sometimes it's the negative. But let's talk about another positive thing that can impact your individual. Or, for example, me, I read a lot, and it's a big part of my mentality. I get lots of inspiration from books and stories. So, is there something that you'd like to share, a book or a book series that you'd like to share that has helped you in your journey?
I have to think about that because it's been a while.
It doesn't have to be a book. It can
Yeah.
be a podcast or a story or a movie. It can be anything that you've seen that has inspired you.
That's a very interesting question. I'm not easily inspired.
Okay.
I'm not somebody easily inspired or easily wowed. What I do is I'm very analytical person. So it takes a lot of time for me to feel like something is really adding that sense of value or that sense of, push that I need. I would say like I'm the kind of person who read a lot of books. I might take only one line from a book that I find useful. So I would not say there is one book that inspired me fully.
Okay.
I wouldn't say there is one specific, movie that I saw that inspired me fully.
Yeah.
So all of these things are, part of me being who I am.
It's sometimes the inspiration can be not necessarily a book, but an experience or or a life moment or mawqif that can inspire you. You have a very versatile life. Because it's sometimes you're training, sometimes you're not training, sometimes you're traveling. Can you let our listeners get to know you a little bit more through what you do in your day, and give us examples of your day, for example?
Okay.
I know that in my case, when someone asks me this question, my days don't look the same.
No,
I have
never.
days like this where I have back-to-back, podcast recording without lunch. Juliet. No, I'm happy. I had breakfast. And then there are days where I'm prepping or I'm traveling or I don't have similar days. So I imagine you are the same.
Pretty
so
much.
Run us through that.
Yeah,
How
pretty
is
much.
a typical Amna day?
My days look very different. Now I also work in real estate. So I have a different role that I'm adding to my life. And that takes a big part of my day now. Every now and then I have collaborations, I have talks as well. So each day looks very different, as you said. And a very important part of my day is being active. So for me, I have to fit in my workouts, whether it's at 9 a.m., 1 p.m., whatever the time is, my activities are my number one. And one of my favorite things to do is actually swim at the beach. So that is like
love
one
the
of
beach.
my happiest moments. I usually have my phone off. I don't care what time of the day it is, whether it's winter, I'm working, I'm not working. At least there is that 1 hour that is very important for me to have for myself to just have a reset. And it doesn't have to be like, beginning of the month, end of the month. We put a lot of labels on when we should do things. And for me, it's like, no, I have today. Today is going to be a day where I can reset. And there are days where, I'm back to back from, shoots to, working, to client meetings, to giving a talk. And subhanallah, sometimes when it's busy, it's all busy in one period, and then it just gets a bit quiet.
Yeah.
And I think it's very common
It's
in
seasonal
our
also.
Yeah, it's very seasonal, especially in our kind of work and in our kind of activities that we do.
I like that aspect of my life, but in the same time, I find it gets a little bit hectic. I like that I don't have a typical kind of 9 to 5, but it also can get the best of me. And sometimes I get fatigued and I feel like I'm low in battery. So what do you do when you're low on battery? What's your go-to when you need to recharge? What's your thing? You mentioned swimming.
Yeah.
In the beach. Is that your thing when you feel like you're at the edge of your burnout? What do you do?
Yes, a big part of what I do is, first of all, I take time off from my phone. So I do travels where actually I go offline completely. I only have one phone where I am in contact with my family only and the people I am around where I'm traveling. So nobody has access to me. Nobody. If I want to open my email to check if there is something urgent, I would. But I can go 2-3 weeks sometimes traveling off the grid, not showcasing where my travels were, not showing my experiences.
Just
If I feel like showing it later, I would. But that's what's really important to do is you have to do certain things just for yourself. It's not always about sharing with the world. It's okay. Even if you're traveling and you're a traveler, influencer or whatever, it's okay to take that one trip for yourself. no media, no social media.
I also do that. So I travel when I travel, it's mostly for work or mostly because I need content. But I have a rule: I don't post while I'm there, unless it's a global event, like unless
Yeah.
it's something like a game or like a award. Then I have to post while I'm at the event because it's not relevant later. But when I travel, I always have an agreement with where I go that I post. I have the right to reserve posting after.
Yeah, of
Because I
course.
want to enjoy it.
Agreed.
And I feel like you can tell when someone's there for the sake of content or someone's there because he or she really wants to be there. And I never want to be one of those people that's just shooting for the sake of content.
Yeah.
What about how you feel? What about your your feelings? What about your go-to? I miss that though. I haven't been on a climb. I'm doing air quotes for those listening and not watching. I haven't been on an adventure in a while. That takes me away where I don't have a phone connection. I kind of miss that. I haven't done that in a while. So now I'm itching to kind of do something, but it's too hot now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally think that you should have that sense of, yeah, I need to disconnect. Before we go on to the let's say the not so happy side of the journey, because everyone has struggles and your story is so inspiring. We're going to take a little break and then come back and talk about the difficulties and the things that you had to overcome to become Amna Al Haddad. I love to take a moment for a little bit of me time. And right now, let's take a quick break to say a huge thank you to London Dairy for their support of this series of the Quality of Life podcast. Because London Dairy ice cream is all about giving us little moments of joy and relaxation. If you want to know more, check out the link in the show notes. Now, let's get back to the show. I know how hard it is, because I live this, to be an athlete in our region, our background, and our era. I know how hard it is. So what would you say is the biggest challenge you faced in your journey?
The biggest challenge I faced in my journey, I would say, is that sharing the importance of what I was doing and getting it through to certain like organizations and certain individuals.
They didn't get it, did they?
No,
Yeah.
no, they did not. And it was, I would say, honestly, it's really funny because my journey from the outside looks this like glamorous, Madame Tussauds and all of that stuff. But it was
Congrats, by the way. I
Thank you.
commented on it when I saw. I'm like, you well deserved.
Thank you.
Congrats.
But the truth is, it was a heartbreaking story. It was not a journey that was, it was empowering for a lot of people. But for me, I was riding a very different kind of wave. I was living a very different kind of reality. And I was also ahead of the wave. You know, people like us, we were the pioneers of creating that shift in the narrative in our region. And it takes like somebody to be the sacrifice, you know, to do that. And I think it was a very like a challenging time for me to understand that back then, because you were very much in it. When you're very in it, you don't really reflect back on certain things because you just are fully doing, being.
You're in the thick of it. You're not focusing on other things. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, like lack of sponsorship, having sponsors kind of back out last minute before a competition or before a travel, and not having a specific place to work out at because the facilities at that time did not have the right, you know, setup for,
They're not
for
female
my
equipped.
sport.
Yeah.
No, they were not. And it was really, really challenging. I had to like work out at like 3 different gyms to get my workout in during the week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was just very frustrating, and like, you know, driving around and trying to, you know, get people to like support and be like, yeah, can you sponsor my gym membership? At that time, I was not working. I quit my job as a journalist because I used to be a journalist, and I quit that job to pursue sports full time because I thought it was the right time to do it, and it was the opportunity, and it was the time where, you know, I can never go back being younger, you know, and I want to take advantage of that period. Do I regret it? Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not.
It opened other doors.
Absolutely. And having that, you know, perspective can make you sometimes feel like you're grieving. Like I would say I'm constantly in a state of like grieving of what could have been or how my journey could have been different if I had the support I needed, you know. like the financial, the facilities, you know.
I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah.
I always ask myself, what if, I mean, it's not good that you think like this, but sometimes I think what I would have been as an athlete had I started earlier. Or had I had the support.
Yeah.
I always wonder
Yeah.
what would have, where I would have reached.
What
But
it
it is
looked
what it
like.
is.
Yeah.
I'm glad for what I have.
Yeah.
And I know the struggle you've been
Yeah.
through. I know how hard it is.
Yeah.
But look at you, mashallah. You, despite everything, you managed to shatter the stereotype and build your name and get your due, mashallah. What's the advice you'd give to someone who, listening now, would be inspired, who might be going through the same thing you're going through? What would you tell them?
I would tell them to trust themselves, to trust their choices, to trust their decisions, trust their gut, and not just only ask themselves why they started something, but why they want to continue. Why we start something does not necessarily has to be the
you
reason
finish.
why we finish it. When I was in the middle of my journey, I can tell you I wanted to leave it within like 2 years by all the challenges I faced. But then I decided to stick through it because I wanted to see how far I, as Amna, solo can go. How far, with my own effort, my own energy, my own dreams, my own hopes, can take me. And that showed me who I am. It showed my essence, you know, it showed my power, that despite everything, I'm somebody who is willing to go through thick and thin to make it happen.
Lifting is, because this question people ask me, because climbing is also very male dominated, and also especially when we started wasn't really, you know, everybody's cup of tea in terms of what women do.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of things that I would love to correct about mountaineering and even volleyball, because I played volleyball competitively. What would you want to correct in someone's mentality when it comes to lifting? What's a misconception about lifting, a female lifter, or your journey with lifting? What's the misconception that you just feel like is people get wrong and you'd like to correct?
With weightlifting, you see, there is a lot of misconceptions because they assume, first of all, a woman has to be very bulky.
Yeah.
To lift
And you
weights.
lose your femininity.
Yes. And that's absolutely not true.
No.
You have 48 kilograms women lifting 100 kilos
Absolutely.
clean and jerks.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely massive. That's like double their body weight.
Who was it? The very petite lady? Was she from the Philippines? She was from Asia. Very petite.
Yes, he was Asian, yes.
Petite lady, and she just goes boom.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and she doesn't
it's-
look like a lifter.
It all has to do with your nervous system and training your nervous system. But this is where you need the time to build that.
To build it.
It doesn't happen in 1, 2, 3 years. It happens in 10, 12, 15 years.
Yeah.
So a lot of the people you see who are able to lift those kind of weights are people who have been training for a very long time. They had gymnastics background, started like at 7, 8, 9-year-olds. So starting at my age, I was 22 when I started Olympic weightlifting. You know, there were some certain like misalignments in my joints, in my body that, especially in our region, sport was not a big part of our, there was no sport culture in schools. Like doing jumping jacks is not sports, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I mean,
You
bare
know?
minimum,
Not
below
even,
minimum,
not
below
even,
minimum.
Not even. So, you know, having to learn how to move again to be an athlete was already a challenge on its own. I had to do a lot of, you know, excruciating exercises to put my joints in a place that can actually be able to lift those kind of weights. So that's one of the misconceptions that people have about is that you have to be bulky. No, you don't have to be bulky. It's training your nervous system. And another thing, you know, is they assume by if you gain a lot of muscles, you'll end up like losing it and it will turn into fat. No, it does not turn into fat. Muscles and fat are two different entities in your system. They're not the same.
They don't turn into each other.
No,
you
no.
know.
You either lose this or lose that. There is no.
Or you build this
Yes,
and lose that, like,
exactly.
you know, or
Yeah.
gain this and lose that, like,
Exactly.
or both, like,
Or both,
if you
yeah.
have the tendency, you know,
Yeah,
your
so
body.
it would never turn into anything.
No.
So that's one of the people feel afraid of when it comes to like Olympic weightlifting. Again, it's a sport that even the average athlete does not compete in after the age of 35.
Yeah,
It's a very taxing
it's
sport.
rare to be above 40. Actually, it's rare.
It's a very taxing sport. So if you do it, it has to be something you really want to, and
you have a good base for it.
good base, and also you need to have that power in your body. Some bodies are meant to be more for endurance, while others are more based on power. So knowing where your body is leaning towards, that's how you train. Can you change it? 100%.
You can improve it either way,
you can,
but
yeah.
I think everyone has a threshold and everyone has
Absolutely.
let's say a genetic preference. So
Yes.
I am one of those people that believes, and the science also tells you this, is that each individual has a tendency towards specific activities. I read this and I went into a rabbit hole of information regarding sleep. So some people's ancestors were the ancestors who used to hunt. They were the ones that used to wake up early in the morning and hunt, and they were the ancestors that used to protect, and they used to sleep till late and wake up late in the day. So it's even deep into your genetic ancestral makeup. And then take this uqisi, like measure this and everything else.
Yeah.
Some people have more better muscle memory. Some people have low fat. Some people have high muscle. Some people are double jointed. Some people. So my belief is, you live your life trying to figure out what you're good at, and you will never know what you're good at unless you try. Never. I never imagined in a million years a girl from Jeddah. It's flat. It's hot. We have no mountains. The only ice I saw was in the fridge. I would actually be physically elite compared to other people. I remember one of the days I realized this. We were sitting in high camp in Aconcagua in Argentina. We were sitting in high camp. Everyone was struggling. Everyone was just like battery down. And I was sitting there having a cookie, and I was completely fine. I'm just having a cookie sitting there. And every night the guide gives you a O2 meter, the thing you put on your finger to check your O2s. So everyone was there's a range. The closer to 100, the better, right? So most people were low 80s, shy, early 90s, blah, blah, blah. I was above them all. And the guide was like, how? How? You don't live near the mountains. How? And I had a very good affinity to altitude, and I never knew. And I never took medication, mashallah, tabarakallah. I never took any medication, and I never had a single headache.
Wow, mashallah. Okay.
Mashallah. So you will never know unless you have the bravery to go out.
Absolutely.
And that's why your story is so inspirational, because your environment wasn't a weightlifting environment. Your environment, Olympic weightlifting, might I add. It wasn't that environment. Yet you found the courage, Amna, to go after it. And it's an incredible a testament to your grit, your wit, and your determination to be the best you can be. And I love this story about you. Before I let you go, I have 10 questions.
Okay.
Bullet questions.
Okay.
I'll ask you fast and answer fast.
Okay.
The last question, you can think about it.
Okay.
But the first 9, I need to know the raw answers.
Are you gonna give me like options or okay?
No, it's a single question. You give a single answer. I'm joking. Have fun with it.
Okay.
I'm just teasing you.
Yeah.
But I like to see people's answers. Okay. Ready?
Okay. Let's see.
If you were a fruit, what would you be?
Pineapple.
Me too. Me and Juliet as well. Mountains or beaches?
Beaches.
Okay. Me too. For me, if I can have a mountain near a beach.
Yeah.
Early bird or night owl?
Both.
Depends on the season.
Yeah.
Right? Because in Ramadan a little bit. A word that defines you.
That's a tough one. I need to think about that one.
Think about it.
Yeah.
I have one, but think about it.
Okay.
Yeah. What would you say it's one of the definitions of Amna?
I would say powerful.
Yeah. Very powerful. And determined, I think, as well. MashaAllah. What's your biggest fear?
To be alone.
Yeah. That's one that comes up for me from time to time. And I don't mean alone. I mean you're never alone, but I mean lonely.
Yeah.
I guess. Not alone. I mean more
like for me, no partnership, no family. Yeah. Not like,
because you can be
I'm
surrounded.
fine spending time by myself.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I know what you mean, but you can still feel a little bit like, introvert or extrovert?
Introvert.
Okay. Yeah, I think I get that.
All the way.
Yeah.
But I see him as an extrovert.
Yeah, you do it well.
Yeah.
You do it. We sat on stages that with hundreds of people, me and Amna.
Yeah.
The last time we met. What's your mantra?
That's I'm still finding it. Let's say
Good.
that. I'm still finding it.
That's
I
an
can't say
honest one.
I can't say I found it yet, no.
I like it. Honesty. What would you say is your superpower?
Oh, my superpower? Very intuitive.
That's a good one. Good one to have. You have a good gut. يعني الدودة اللي في بطن. I don't know what do they call it here؟ احنا نقول لك الدودة اللي في بطن. We say this little duda. Duda is
And we say duda as well.
duda in your tummy. Like you have that feeling.
Yeah.
Gut feeling.
Gut feeling. Yeah.
Super. That's a good superpower.
Yeah.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Pizza.
That's a common one.
A full pizza.
Thick or thin crust?
Average, like the normal, not thin. I don't like thin. Thin is boring.
Okay, if you say pineapple,
I want ranch.
we'll have a problem.
No.
Okay.
I just want all the ranch in my pizza.
Good.
All the ranch.
Ranch we accept.
All the ranch.
My friends are Italian, they'll kill me if I have a pineapple pizza. And the final question, if you would write an autobiography, what would the title be?
That's a very good question. I went through different titles and I'm still finding the right one that's aligned.
Because your journey is not done.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Amna, may you find that title and really you're a very great inspiration and very deserving of Madame Tussauds statue. I really was so proud and very happy when I saw it. And you broke so many boundaries back when it wasn't easy and it wasn't cool.
Yeah.
So I wish you all the best in your journey wherever that may lead, and I hope we meet again.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Before we wrap up and Amna creates her Sunday, I wanted to take a moment to say a huge thank you to London Dairy for the support of the series of the Quality of Life podcast, because London Dairy ice cream is all about giving us little moments of joy and relaxation. If you want to know more, check out the show notes. See you next time.